You trust the jar in your cupboard. You trust the golden liquid you pour over your morning porridge or spread on your toast. You see the word pure on the label and assume it comes from a hive created by bees. But what if that healthy natural sweetener is actually a chemically engineered cocktail of industrial sugar syrup, stripped of all nutrients, and sold to you at a premium? Here at Brit Food Watch, we have uncovered the darkest secrets behind popular brands. The European Commission recently flagged British honey imports with a shocking failure rate in authenticity tests. That is not a mistake. That is a crime scene. We are about to expose the 7 UK honey brands that forensic investigations and lab reports suggest you should avoid immediately. We will break down the chemical adulteration, the deceptive blends designed to hide Chinese origins, and the hidden toxins leaching from the packaging. It is time to see what you are really eating. Sainsbury's Clear Honey, 75 degrees Celsius. That is the thermal death sentence handed to this product before it even reaches the shelf. To the supermarket giant, this extreme thermal processing is a necessary evil to prevent crystallization and ensure the jar remains aesthetically pleasing on the shelf for months. To a food scientist, it is a death sentence for the very ingredients that make honey a superfood. Real honey is a living substance, teeming with sensitive enzymes like diastase and invertase. These bioactive compounds are responsible for honey's antibacterial and digestive benefits. However, forensic analysis suggests that to achieve that unnatural glowing clarity, this product is superheated to temperatures that denature these proteins. The chemical consequence is absolute. The enzymes unravel and die. What you are left with is a bioactive wasteland. It may look like honey, but chemically it has been reduced to a sterile, high glycemic syrup that the body metabolizes exactly like a bag of white refined sugar. But the destruction does not stop at heating. This product exploits ultrafiltration. In a bid to remove any potential for cloudiness, the honey is forced through filtration systems so fine they scrub out the pollen. This is not just cosmetic, it is a forensic erasure. Pollen is the only way to verify the botanical origin of honey. By removing it, Sainsbury's makes it impossible for independent labs to verify if the contents came from a British apiary or a factory in China. The deception is profound. You are paying a premium for a product that has been stripped of its identity and cooked to death. In jurisdictions with stricter food standards, a product this heavily processed would struggle to legally qualify as raw honey and would be closer to industrial inverted sugar. Sainsbury's is selling you a ghost product, sweet, golden, and completely dead. Marks & Spencer Pure Set Honey. The label sells you a vision of British luxury. The fine print admits to a globalized sludge. You pay a premium at the till because you believe you are bypassing the murky supply chains of the budget supermarkets. You are mistaken. Despite the luxury branding, the back of this jar reveals the same legislative blindfold used by the discount retailers. Blend of non-EU honeys. In the forensic world of food authenticity, this phrase is a red flag. It effectively means the honey could come from anywhere outside the European Union. We are talking about massive industrial agricultural zones in nations like Vietnam, India, or China, regions that have historically struggled with lax food laws and the widespread use of antibiotics in beekeeping. By blending these diverse sources into a single batch, Marks & Spencer creates a globalized sludge. You are not tasting the nectar of a specific season or region. You are eating a homogenized mix of thousands of different hives, stripped of their individual character and potential health benefits. The deception deepens when you examine the texture. The label says set, a term that traditionally implies a raw, rustic product that has crystallized naturally in the jar. However, natural crystallization is unpredictable and often gritty. The uncanny, velvety smoothness of the Marks & Spencer product points to a manufacturing process known as creaming. This involves mechanical beating and controlled cooling to force the honey into a specific uniform structure. Worse, forensic experts warn that this texture can also be mimicked by blending natural honey with fine crystal syrups to prevent separation. The purity paradox. Here is stark. Marks and Spencer sells you the image of an artisanal product, but the reality is a mass-manufactured blend that hides its true origins behind a veil of corporate branding. You are paying for a luxury pedigree, but you are eating a product that is legally indistinguishable from the cheapest blends on the market. The only thing pure about this product is the profit margin. If a bee did not produce the enzymes in your jar, can you legally call it honey? A forensic investigation into Asda's Set Pure Honey uncovered a biological impossibility. The lab found exogenous enzymes. These are proteins that do not exist in the natural biology of a bee. Their presence in your breakfast jar is a chemical smoking gun, indicating the product has been tampered with at a molecular level. So what are these alien proteins doing in your food? They are likely the footprint of inverted sugar syrup. That is an industrial sweetener created by chemically splitting sugar beet sucrose using acids or synthetic enzymes. It is the fraudster's weapon of choice because it mimics the texture and mouthfeel of honey so effectively that it can fool the human palate. But it cannot fool the lab. The detection of these non-bee enzymes suggests Asda's supplier is not just harvesting nature, but manufacturing a counterfeit. The danger extends beyond simple fraud. You are consuming a highly processed, chemically inverted syrup that mimics the metabolic impact of high fructose corn syrup. While raw honey contains compounds that buffer sugar absorption, this industrial imposter hits your bloodstream like a metabolic grenade. It drives rapid spikes in blood glucose and places unnecessary stress on the liver, all while masquerading as a healthy alternative. The betrayal here is calculated. Consumers specifically choose Set honey because they believe it is more natural, raw, or less processed than the clear, runny varieties. Asda has weaponized that trust. They are using chemical texturizers to fake the specific consistency of raw honey, selling a product that looks and spreads like a premium natural good, but is chemically closer to the syrup found in a can of cola. You are paying for purity, yet you are eating a chemistry experiment. A state-of-the-art German laboratory had to be the one to expose the secret hiding in this budget bottle. When the renowned Quality Services International Laboratory, QSY, subjected supermarket brands to forensic scrutiny, batches of Aldi Bramwell's honey were flagged with the most damning classification in food science: adulterated. The weapon used to uncover this fraud was nuclear magnetic resonance profiling, known as NMR. Think of it as an MRI scan for food. While standard tests look for simple chemical markers, NMR maps the entire molecular skeleton of the product. Under this advanced gaze, the Bramwell sample failed. The molecular profile did not match that of natural honey and indicated the presence of exogenous sugars. This is not a manufacturing error, it is the C4 sugar trap. The industry refers to these as C4 sugars, derived from corn or cane, and C3 sugars from rice or beet. Food fraudsters have become incredibly sophisticated, chemically tailoring these industrial syrups to pass older basic authenticity tests used by UK regulators. They are essentially laundering sugar, engineering it to look like honey to the authorities. But they could not fool NMR technology. The presence of these fillers means the product has been bulked up to lower costs, replacing the hard work of bees with the efficiency of a syrup factory. The betrayal here is economic. Aldi has built an empire on the promise of unbeatable value. But this product represents the ultimate false economy. You may believe you are grabbing a bargain, but chemically you are purchasing one of the most expensive sugar syrups on the market. You are paying honey prices for a Franken food, a substance engineered to pour and taste like nature's sweetener, while chemically resembling the ingredients of a cheap soda. It is a cynical exploitation of the cost of living crisis, selling a diluted lie to families trying to make ends meet. Number 5. Morrison's Clear Honey. The packaging evokes the rolling hills of Yorkshire. The reality is a shipping container from East Asia. The branding is soaked in British heritage, designed to evoke trust in local farming. But if you turn the jar around and squint at the fine print, you will find the industry's most notorious disclaimer: blend of EU and non-EU honeys. In the murky world of global food supply chains, non-EU is frequently a polite euphemism for China. This matters because China is the central nervous system of the honey laundering trade. It is the world's largest exporter of honey, yet the number of hives in the country cannot mathematically produce the volume they ship abroad. This magic honey is made possible by the industrial dilution of nectar with cheap rice syrup. When you buy this blend, you are likely purchasing a product that has been stretched to maximize profit, containing fillers that have never seen a flower. But the issue inside this jar goes deeper than just geography. It is about age and decay. Independent analysis of supermarket blends like this often reveals elevated levels of HMF, hydroxymethylfurfural. HMF forms when honey is overheated or aged for excessive periods. In the trade, it is the chemical marker of a dead product. High levels indicate that the honey has been thermally degraded, cooked in giant vats to blend it, or stored in industrial drums for years before being bottled. The betrayal is twofold. First, the patriotism scam lures you in with local aesthetics while selling you a globalized, untraceable slurry. Second, the quality you are paying for is an illusion. You are not buying fresh, raw honey. You are buying a mix of old, heat-damaged sweetener and potential rice syrup that has traveled thousands of miles to reach your toast. It is a zombie product, ancient, cooked, and chemically compromised. Number 6. Co-op clear honey. Psychose is not just a sweetener. It is a chemical smoking gun that forensic scientists use to identify industrial fraud. You might believe that the Co-op, a brand built on pillars of community and ethical trading, would be the last place to find industrial food adulteration. You would be wrong. Independent testing by the Honey Authentication Project has flagged Co-op's clear honey for the presence of a specific damning chemical marker, psychose. To the average shopper, psychose sounds like just another sugar. But in the world of forensic food science, it is a smoking gun. This rare sugar does not exist in significant quantities in natural hive honey. It is, however, a primary component of industrial rice and corn syrups. Its presence in your jar is the chemical equivalent of finding a fingerprint at a crime scene. It suggests that this product is not solely the work of bees, but a honey-flavored syrup blend, bulked out with cheap industrial fillers to undercut the market while you pay full price. How do they get away with this? The answer lies in a process called ultrafiltration. To achieve that perfect glowing clarity you see on the shelf, the honey is heated and forced through high-pressure filters. This does not just remove impurities, it removes the pollen. Pollen is the DNA of honey. It is the only way to trace the botanical and geographical origin of the product. By stripping the pollen, the manufacturer effectively files off the serial numbers. Without that biological data, it becomes nearly impossible to prove if the honey came from a British wildflower meadow or a megafactory in East Asia. The betrayal here is absolute. Co-op positions itself as the champion of the ethical consumer, yet they are selling a zombie product. Real honey is a functional superfood loaded with antibacterial enzymes and antioxidants. But once it has been cut with rice syrup and stripped of its pollen through heavy filtration, it becomes nutritionally void. You are spooning dead, high-fructose sludge onto your breakfast, spiking your blood sugar without receiving a single one of the health benefits nature intended. The jar says honey, but the chemistry says syrup. 7. Rouse, squeezy, clear honey. A plastic vessel leaching chemicals into acidic food. That is the risk you take every time you follow the instructions on this bottle. Rouse, squeezy. Honey represents a double threat: chemical instability meets toxic packaging. The first betrayal is the struggle you likely know too well. Consumers consistently report that this product turns rock hard and unusable in the bottle with alarming speed. Rouse defends this as natural crystallization, but the ferocity and speed of the solidification point to a specific chemical imbalance. In the world of industrial blending, this rapid hardening often indicates an unstable glucose to fructose ratio. This happens when manufacturers blend cheap, high-glucose honeys, often derived from industrial oilseed rape crops, with various syrups to keep costs down. You are buying a product designed for convenience that becomes a solid brick of sugar because the blend is fundamentally unstable. But the true factory nightmare begins when you follow the instructions to fix it. The bottle advises you to stand the product in hot water to melt the crystals. Consider what you are doing. You are taking a plastic vessel containing an acidic food substance and subjecting it to thermal stress. Heat accelerates the migration of chemicals. By boiling this bottle, you risk leaching plasticizers and microplastics directly into the honey you are about to feed your family. You are essentially brewing a plastic tea. The convenience of the squeezy format becomes a delivery system for potential toxins. Furthermore, Rouse is the primary funnel for globally sourced honey into the UK market. Despite the heritage branding, they rely heavily on the opaque label that reads blend of EU and non-EU honeys. This allows them to source from the cheapest markets in the world, blending untraceable harvests into a single uniform product. Rouse asks you to trust them, yet they sell you a mystery blend in a plastic bottle that fights you every time you try to use it, forcing you to engage in a risky heating process just to access the product. It is the ultimate betrayal, a household icon that is quite literally toxic by design. You now possess the forensic truth. From the zombie syrups of the budget retailers to the plastic leaching bottles of the nation's favourite brand, the British honey aisle is a crime scene of adulteration and deception. The supermarkets are banking on your ignorance. They rely on you seeing the word pure and asking no further questions. Go to your cupboard right now. Check the label. If you see the words blend of non-EU honeys, or if your set honey looks suspiciously artificial, you are likely eating the very fraud we just exposed. Did you know about this deception before today? And will you ever trust these brands again? Tell us in the comments below. We are currently investigating the UK's most popular tea brands for pesticide residues, and the preliminary results are even more shocking than the honey. Subscribe to Brit Food Watch and turn on notifications. The industry does not want you to know this, which is exactly why you must.